The world is in turmoil. Also, the post-corona era will be full of challenges, old and new. How do we safeguard the future of next generations? We believe the answer lies in resilience. For that, we treat you to knowledge and inspiration. Rethinking mobility and connectivity towards a resilient society.
To me, a resilient society actually means that people care for each other and people are ready to jump in for each other so that together we address the crisis that we're facing. In order to make our society more resilient, the first challenge that we need to address is to identify the critical infrastructures that we have in our society. Think of electricity, communication, connectivity, our health infrastructure, our mobility infrastructure, and all these infrastructures are important to keep our society and economy flowing. And as a next step, we need to address all the vulnerabilities that we have in these different infrastructure. So what happens if one of those elements is being affected, and how quickly can we recover, and which recovery strategies should we develop? And more importantly, as society is becoming more complex nowadays, these different infrastructures are combined and they influence each other. Like the IT system, the communication system, the energy systems, they're intertwined, and a disturbance in one of them can also lead to disturbances in the other. We need to thoroughly understand these interactions in order to develop the right strategies to recover from disturbances. Technology is very important to help achieve a resilient society. There's different types of technology that we need here. So first we need to have data and data analysis to understand the nature and the progression of disturbances that we have in our system. And they can be in the energy system, they can be a virus, they can be in the mobility system, or in the communication system. Also, we need to have models to help us to analyze different ways in which the disturbance can spread in our system, and also to help us to develop strategies to contain the disturbance and to help recovery of the functions of the system. My own research evolves around future transportation systems. So how will we travel in the future? How will people live, and what types of transport will we have in the future? And will this lead to a sustainable and smart transportation system? And for instance, this type of vehicle that is electric and could be automated. You could also think of modern new mobility services. So we do this research both empirically in real life using prototypes, but also when we use mathematical models to find out what the world would look like and what the impact would be when these systems are applied on a larger scale. I think in the Dutch society, the need for resilience has always been there. And it has predominantly been inspired by our need to have our feet dry and to keep our soil fertile. So in order to do that, we needed to defend our land against the water. So that has been a challenge of resilience all along. In modern days, we see this expanding towards communication resilience, transportation resilience, and of course now also resilience against viruses. So I think the resilience has always been there, but the need for resilience has become more prominent in the past years. On the gift table, you'll find different examples of how to cope with resilience, how to make your society more resilient. For instance, we have examples on how to recover a road network after an earthquake in Nepal. We have an example on where in the city it is safe to go to as a pedestrian, taking into account social distancing. We also have examples on how to use technology also in the future to go to a more sustainable and smart transport system just by adapting to the increasing automation that is being offered to us. The corona crisis has been tough for all of us, but I consider myself fortunate having good health, good facilities to work with, and being in a position also to help others. Although I must admit, it has been boring from some times to times as well. I do have deep admiration for the healthcare workers in the Netherlands that have done a great job and still are doing a great job, and also have a big admiration for the students of TU Delft and also other universities that have been working and learning online during a long period, and sometimes also mention international students, sometimes also in possibly lonely conditions. So much admiration for our students as well. I think the Corona crisis has taught us that much more is possible, for instance, when working from home. So we've all actually done a massive national online course of working at home. And I think we've all learned a lot about that, what is possible, but also what the limitations are. And I think the experience we need to bring to the future is also to be flexible in the way that we work and live, and also in maintaining social contacts in order to be productive and to have a good life. In the Corona crisis and also before that, there are some particular examples of colleagues that have inspired me. For instance, the example of the Bridging Transportation Research Conference by Kara Kokkelman. Already before the Corona crisis, and actually it was inspired by travel restrictions into the United States, she organized a fully virtual conference for transport researchers with a full review system and full publication facilities. I think that has also been a personal commitment from Kara and her colleagues to still establish scientific participation in these conferences. Another example is from Kati Makaris from University of Brussels. She wrote a book on how to go to a really sustainable transport systems and also embrace change and technology in order to get there, to get to a more sustainable transport system. And also there it is a personal statement and personal commitment that she is making. And those examples really inspire me to also do my part in this development. How to stay energized when working from home behind the office, behind a screen at all the time. I get my energy from running. I get lots of ideas on running. So during the Corona crisis, I've been running 3 times a week.
So I ran to the end of the road. And when I got there, I thought maybe I'd run to the end of town.
President Carter suffering from heat exhaustion.
And it's been inspirational for me. Not really connecting, but it's those moments when I can relax on my own.
Mr. B repeats. Mr. B repeats.
I like listening to music. I get inspired by the classics. Shostakovich is an important one, but also more modern music, Pete Philly and Perquisite. This is very nice professional music that inspires me. Also art inspires me. So museums were open during the crisis, so I was able to visit some of the museums, but in particular works that inspire me are, for instance, from Anish Kapoor. His sculptures are amazing. They really touch me. And what's more, he also has a message to the world, so he has a special commitment, and on the gift table you'll see a video recording of him where he also addresses the history of art, the origin of art, and invites us to question the origin of art, while at the same time also addressing the Black Lives Matter questions in the context of art. I think that's very important. Finally, what inspires me also is a good sense of humor. You'll see on the gift table the self-driving bicycle from Google. I think without a good sense of humor, it would be difficult to sustain in this crisis. So having a good laugh makes you relax, make you reflect and think, and this is very important.